Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday, the 27th day of July, 2026. I hope you enjoyed your weekend, that your family enjoyed their weekend, and everyone's safe, happy, and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders, doing all they can to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children, the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims also of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and the perverts that are causing these demands to create these industries and make them exist. Finally, double curses on them and double blessings on the homeless. More than 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So today's theme is no news is good news. Okay? And what do I mean? So with respect to the third string center that the Knicks are trying to get, which is really, depending on the player, it could be a second string center. If it was Yves Missi, it would have been a second string center. But for now, second string center is Andre Drummond. And the good news is that New Orleans flatly rejected the Knicks trade offers, which apparently were multiple, trying to get Yves Missi. So the Don was trying his best to get Yves Missi. That was the number one target. And New Orleans, Joe Dumars, Jamal Mosley flatly rejected all offers for him. So that's good because now that's off the table. We don't have to talk about Yves Missi anymore. Also, all of y'all that are trying to play the role of the Don should stop. I've been hearing too much about this 7'5" dude in whatever league he's in. They should go get him. You're not a scout. You're not an expert. You definitely don't know what the Knicks are trying to do. So forget it. And then there's some idiots still mentioning Moses Brown. Will y'all stop, please? Just stop. And then somebody had the nerve to come on my channel about you should not rebuke your listeners. Man, get the hell. Please just leave. Don't come back. Don't try to tell me how to run my channel. Okay, so let's talk about also no news is good news. So we've been talking about the Charlotte Hornets. And why? Because the Charlotte Hornets have 3 centers that are listed as centers, and then they have another 3 guys that play center that is listed as forward. So they have P.J. Hall, 24 years old, 6'8", he's undersized, out of Clemson, he's a center. Ryan Kalkbrenner, out of Creighton, 24 years old, 7'1", he's a center. Naz Reid, who they just got, 26 years old, 6'9", 264. He can play the backup center, and he can also start at the forward spot, which we feel like he probably will for the Charlotte Hornets. Then they got 3 forwards that play center. We know about Moussa Diabete, who they are interested in. We know also about the young dude. They got a 20-year-old, 6'10" dude, Tijane Salaoun. Okay, they got him. He's from overseas. I don't remember where he's from. Then they got the latest dude, which they just drafted, 6'10", 248 out of the University of Washington, Hans Steinbach. And he did have a good summer. He showed a lot of potential, but he's a rookie. So, and again, I also get some knuckleheads contacting me talking about they should have drafted a center. Let's please get this straight. And for all of you that understand, please help the knuckleheads. The Knicks did not draft a center, and they should not have. Now, the reason they did not and should not have, we, the Knicks, are not looking for a rookie as our third string center. It takes a center 2 to 3 seasons to learn the position. The Knicks are trying to win a back-to-back chip. So we don't need a guy that needs 2 to 3 seasons to learn the position. Do you understand? So all of these suggestions, we don't understand why they didn't draft a rookie at center, because we don't need a rookie. So Steinbach is a rookie. So he's going to stay with Charlotte. Okay? Salaun is either a rookie or a second-year dude. He's going to stay with Charlotte. And they're going to be pretty good, those two guys. But not this year. Okay? Maybe next year, year after that. Okay. Then you have Mohamedou Gaye. Okay? Now, he's 6'9". He comes out of the University of Pittsburgh. He's 28 years old. So he's a young veteran. Okay? He's always been a backup. So he's not like used to starting. And he's a possibility. And the reason, again, we're talking about Charlotte is because there are 6 players we just named. Hall, Kalkbrenner, Reed, Diabete, Gaye, and then you got Salaun. Actually, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Salaun and Steinbach. They got 6 guys. And then Steinbach, they just drafted him in the lottery. So it ain't like, they're going to trade him. They just drafted him. Just like the whole thing with Dallas and Daniel Gafford. He just signed a 3-year extension last year. But that was before Masai Ujiri came. Okay? So the previous guy in the president's, who's the same guy that caused Luka Doncic to be traded, he signs Gafford to 3 years. So they shouldn't be trying to trade him, and they just signed him to an extension. It's kind of ridiculous, actually. So that's why I say Cisse is still on the radar. Okay? But the Knicks right now are trying to deal with Charlotte because they got 6 centers. No team wants to carry 6 centers. No team really wants to carry more than 3, 4 tops, but definitely not 6. Okay? So I can see the young boy Kalkbrenner getting the start. Okay, he's gonna get the start. The dude out of Creighton, 25 years old. They're paying him $2.4 million. He played last year. He was pretty good last year, but again, he's a rookie. He's just learning how to play. So this is his second year. So he's, he could probably, they could work with him, and they probably want Diabete, okay, who's a really a real roughneck at 6'10" for them. I could see those 2 dudes. And then you bring along the Steinbach kid slowly as your 3rd stringer. Now, okay? But now you still got Salaun. And then, of course, we still got Naz Reid, who they just signed, so he ain't going nowhere either. So you still got Salaun you're dealing with, Gaye you're dealing with, and you're still trying to push for Diabete anyway. Okay? Now, we talked about the trade targets. The main target that if I'm Charlotte, I want Tyler Kolek. And I can see this holding up the deal. It's like what happened with our boy, Ragu. When they were talking to Minnesota about getting Karl Anthony Towns, Minnesota wanted Ragu. And they went over a month talking back and forth about so the Knicks was trying to keep Ragu. They wanted to move Julius Randle, and that was agreed upon. They offered Mitchell Robinson, that wasn't agreed upon. Minnesota wanted Ragu. And that was going back and forth for a while until finally, right in camp, right after camp, they pulled the trigger. Okay? So, and that's what the Don does. He gets the best deal and he keeps pushing for more. And that's what you want. And then when it's obvious it's not going to happen the way he wants it, he takes what he already had in the pocket. In that case, he ended up with Cat. He had to send Ragu along with Dante DiVincenzo along with Juju to Minnesota. Okay? Now, this time, I'm Charlotte. I don't need Dadiet. I got Zion James, Liam McNeely, Con Canupel, Royce O'Neal, Brandon Miller. I got lots of small forward. I got lots of wings. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wings. Okay? Shooting guards. I got Connaughton. I got Grayson Allen. But at the point guard spot, they got Trey Mann, who's a true point out of Florida, and they got Kobe White, who's not really a true point. Kobe White is really like Deuce. He really is a 2 guard. He could play a point, but I wouldn't want to start him there. Okay? Then you got the young boy they just drafted, Christian Anderson. Okay? Who's too young. You don't want to put, if you could, maybe you want to put him out there and develop him. But if you want to make a run in the East to be competitive, like, Charlotte ain't winning no chip this year. But if you want to make a run in the East to be competitive, you need a starter at the point guard. Tyler Kolek is ready. Okay? Tyler Kolek is ready. So you can get Kolek, you trade a Diabete. Because you got plenty of fives. Okay? So if you could get a Kolek, and if I'm the Don, I'm trying to resist on the Kolek move. Because we know we got something with him. We don't want to pay the 5-point-something million to guarantee to Dadiet. So he's probably offering Dadiet, and they saying, yeah, we're Kolek at. That's probably what's holding this up. But the no news is good news because Charlotte has not rejected the New York overtures. Okay? So that means they're still talking. If they're still talking, it's still possible. So the Don could sit back and watch Dallas struggle to try to move Daniel Gafford and then eventually release Cisse anyway. Or he can get Charlotte to take Dadiet and give him Diabete, which is a little bit of a tougher sell. And I think that's what's holding up the whole deal because, again, you got starter, of course, is Brunson. You got Alvarado behind him, right? That's your 2 point guards. And then you still got Tyler Kolek. And let me tell you, and Brunson going to miss 10 games this year. That's his standard. He gonna play like 72 games, 70 games. So them games where he's not playing, twisted ankle, sore knee, whatever, you could have Alvarado and Kolek, and you're going to lose a lot with Brunson because he's the man, right? But you can at least still win a ball game with them other two dudes. And that's why you want to keep them. Deuce can also play the point, but Deuce is a lot like Kobe White. He's really a natural two guard. Okay, he can run the point if you need him to. He's not the dynamic, get in the paint, spray it out type of dude. But and I know the boy can hit a three though. So you got Shamet and Deuce in the wings there. Shamet is really backing up McCall at the small forward spot, though he's really a shooting guard. And then you got Deuce also. So the Knicks are set where they want to be in terms of the guard rotation. Now you'd be missing something if you trade Kolek. You'd be dependent on Deuce to put in more time at the point guard. And you could win a chip with that. But you'd rather move Dadiet, who wasn't really playing anyway, still has a lot of upside, 21 years old, and you really not missing a rotation piece. And you're getting a rotation piece with Dadiet. You're getting a rotation piece. Now, this other dude, Gaye, Gaye is a 28, so it ain't like he's a spring chicken, but he ain't no old man either. He'd be more of a risk to me, not as a sure thing as Diabete would be. So to me, you're looking at Diabete if you could get him, and you're waiting to see what happens with Cisse still. Cisse's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, they matched, but Dallas got 6 centers. They don't need 6 centers. And we were talking yesterday, I don't know too many teams that want to start Daniel Gafford. Why do I say it like that? You're not paying Daniel Gafford $54 million to come off your bench. If we were going to do that, we'd still have Mitchell Robinson. But they wasn't going to go over the second apron, so that's why Mitchell Robinson's not here. And nobody, the Knicks, if you're going to have a guy that's going to make $54 million, he's got to be your starter. Okay? Otherwise, it don't make no sense. So one of two things, I can see a Detroit if they lose Duren. Because if Duren signs the qualifying offer, that means he's going to be a free agent next summer. Okay? And he's going to take like $9 million, $10 million as the qualifying offer in Detroit. He wants the $230 million deal because he was All-NBA this year. So if you don't give him that, and I can understand Detroit not wanting to hamstring themselves by putting that big contract on Boy, because Homeboy is good, but he ain't elite, in my view. He's very good, but he ain't elite. So I don't want to pay him $230 million. I would let him sign the qualifying offer and see what else I could do. Hence, You might get a Daniel Gafford if you're Detroit. You don't need a superstar at the 5 because Duren is not a superstar. He's a tremendous athlete, but he's not a superstar. So you can get over in Detroit with a Daniel Gafford, for the next 3 years. Lock him down. Listen, $54 million ain't $230 million, right? So you can get over there. So, and you got the money. So you can do that. I see Detroit as a big possibility with the Duren situation being what it is. So we'll see as it goes on. But if Dallas cannot, and I don't know many other teams that would be takers, because everybody, like you start, let's say Miami, where you got Bam Adebayo. You're not paying $54 million for a backup, and you just got Giannis, okay? All right, go up the coast. What about Orlando? No, you're not going to do that either. You got Wendell Carter. Why? And then you got Mo. So no. Atlanta got like 4 centers already, okay? We just talked about Charlotte. Then you go up to Philly. There's the half-time, part-time Embiid, but you just got Houporti, and you still got Adembona, who probably, to me, is their best 5. And then, of course, we're in New York. Then you go up to Boston. They just got Cater, and they just signed our boy Mitch Rob to big money. So there's not that many teams in the East right now that could deal with, or would deal with a Gafford, right? Maybe in the West, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't know. The Lakers just got Walker Kessler. I don't know what the Clippers are doing. They still all caught up in a web with Kawhi and Big Smooth over there, B.I. I don't know. I don't know what they would do. So at this point, I'm having a hard time thinking of a possible team that would want to pay $54 million for Daniel Gafford. The only team I could think of at this point is Detroit because of the Duren situation. San Antonio don't need him. They got, of course, Wemby, and they got a really good backup. The guy that Cornette used to be with the Knicks and won a chip with Boston. So they don't need it either. And they ain't paying Cornette anywhere near $54 million. So that's what I'm saying. There's not that many teams out there that would want $54 million price tag for Daniel Gafford. So it's very possible Gafford could stay in Dallas. If Gafford stays in Dallas this season, we're going to get Cisse. So we just, and when it's time to start writing that $54 million check, which is $17 million this year, they're going, Ujiri got to make a move. He got to make a move. Either you're going to pay him or you're not. But the money is guaranteed, so you're going to pay him if you keep him. So Ujiri is desperately trying to shop Gafford. I don't see any takers except Detroit, and that all depends on Duren. Detroit has a number that they will pay Duren. I don't know what it is. I know it's not $230 million. It's something under that. So Duren's got to decide, can I make my $230 if I take the qualifying offer, bet on myself, and come out in the free market next summer? Or do I really like Detroit? I want to stay with Cade. I'll take less money to stay here. That's up to him. Okay, so all of that is hinging right now on what will happen, in my view, with Daniel Gafford. If Duren decides to stay in Detroit, take less than $230 million, let's say he takes $150 million, $180 million, okay, he stays in Detroit, Gafford's not going anywhere. If Gafford's not going anywhere, and Ujiri has to pay him, okay, he's going, and he will, then you can see him trying to cut costs on Cisse. Now, Cisse, to me, is a really good low-cost option for Dallas. And that I can understand him wanting to keep him, but you also just signed Santi Aldama. You got him, you got the Derek Lively the second, and you just drafted, age 21, you just drafted Mo Johnson Jr. So you got 4 dudes already, okay? Even if you take Gafford out the equation, Aldama, Lively, Johnson, you got 3 right there. You still don't need Cisse, okay? So if I'm the Dom, I'm going to wait. I'm also talking to Charlotte about Diabete, and I'm pushing hard to keep Kolek and try to get Dadiet in that deal and go back and forth with that. And they're probably talking some picks, second-round picks with that as well. Right now, Dallas has $22 million in second apron space. That's what they have with Gafford on there. Okay? Which means that's decent. It's not great, but it's better than us, right? But they can save a couple million or $1 million, $2 million really, by letting Cisse walk. Okay? They'd rather move that 17 million off their books and go up to 39, if they can move Gafford. But they're going to have to, and they're not going to get no picks. They're going to have to attach a pick for somebody to take Gafford. If you're an opposing team, you're not letting Dallas off the hook. You're going to need a pick. Now, Dallas is top 2 protected in 2027. And the other part of their first round, if it's out of the top 2, it goes to Charlotte. Dallas is top 15 protected in 2028, and that goes to OKC. OKC is top 15 protected in 2028, and then after that, it goes to Dallas. So Dallas will probably get at least one first round in the next 2 years. So what I'm saying is they really can't afford to be giving away picks. So I think, again, it looks to me that Gaffford will probably stay in Dallas. Okay? And then Dallas really owns the Lakers pick in 2029. The Dallas's first round pick in 2029 goes to Houston. And then 2031 is the first year they just outright own their own pick. Okay? So right now, Dallas don't have a lot of cupboard in the first round to be given to anybody. Their second rounder in 2027 goes to Milwaukee. In 2028, their second rounder goes to the Clippers. In 2029, they got Rockets' second rounder, and their second rounder goes to Brooklyn. I mean, they just don't have a lot of stuff in the cupboard. So they would be looking for picks. They ain't getting them for Gafford. The Knicks might give him some second round. The Knicks got a whole ton of second rounders. And we know the Don could collect second rounders like M&Ms. So we might be able to hook him up with a second rounder for Cisse. We'll see. The Don ain't giving up. He ain't taking no shorts, though, which is why we love him. He ain't taking no shorts. So we're going to see how this works out. Overall, I still see Cisse on the radar. He's just waiting. And then there's Diabete on the radar, which is good news because we ain't heard no rejection from Charlotte. So they talking. Nothing's in stone, but nothing's not yet. So we'll see. In the meantime, we just sit back and watch the Don do business. And I've been telling y'all, all y'all keep talking about the trade deadline. Please stop. They ain't waiting till the daggone trade. They don't need to. They're going to have their dude, whoever it is, in camp this fall. Okay, and be ready so that by the time the trade deadline comes, they'll know who's playing, who's not, how the team is. Hopefully, you're going to have your core team. Again, we mentioned that the continuity of the core team is together. Deuce is now the longest term Knick, 5 years. You're going to have 4 years under Brunson, 4 years under Hart, 3 years at least under Bridges, 3 or 4 years under OG, and this will be the 3rd year with Cat. So they've been playing together, and they just want to chip. There's more to go. Okay, this is your 2nd year, I think, with Shaman. You're going to use your first, you just finished half a year with Alvarado, okay? And then Kolek, this will be Kolek's 3rd season, I think. So they got some seasoned guys there. And then if you add the center and he works out, you got a squad, okay? So, and that center is not going to, if it's Diabete, he'll be your backup. And he's going to be a very good backup, okay? And you still got Andre Drummond. So, I'm liking the position our team is in. Some guys want to be critical. They're poor. The backup center. No, stop. The Knicks are good. We're just going to get better. That's what everybody's scared of. They're already good. They're the defending champs. They're going to get better, though. That's what everybody's scared of. And the Don's working it. He's working it right now. So he got the chess pieces set up, and he's just going to wait and get checkmate. Y'all enjoy your Monday. Sure.